Hey Jason, sorry we're not going to be there to help you set this bad boy up, but I thought I'd leave you a couple videos on the best way to set this up. So to start, this is the trailer, obviously. Sorry if it's a little noisy. I have the generator running. The batteries were dead on this. So basically, once you get on site, you're going to unhook from the trailer like normal. I'm going to start by going through what's in each belly bay, and then I'm going to do a brief walkthrough on how you set this up. In this first one here, these belly bays are always locked for transport. You'll open it up. This is basically your starting point. You have all your breakers for the trailer are in this breaker bay. The most important one, they never really pop, but is going to be your converter, which is this one here. Yeah, you want to make sure that one's on, so whenever you're plugged up to house power running the generator, it's charging it. When you're traveling, this always needs to be turned off. If this is turned on while you're being transported, or when the generator's not on, or you're plugged into house power, this drains the batteries on this trailer very quickly. It runs the lights inside the trailer, and it basically keeps power to everything. So, big thing. Whenever you're traveling, this stays on red. Here's your lights for inside the trailer. You have the options to dim them or whatever it may be. We don't really use those too much. Over here is your controls for your generator and the jack system. To start the generator, all you have to do is push this up to start and hold it, and you're going to hear the generator kick on, they'll let go. And to get this bad boy to stop, you do the exact opposite. Just hold it down, you'll hear it die down. All right, let's go through the rest of the belly bays real quick, and then I'll get back on how you start setting this thing up. In this one right next door to you, you're gonna notice these are out already, but those swing in, and that's gonna be the support for your hydraulic system here. This is gonna drop down on top of this. So when this is not set up like this, this piece right here just pops in and out. That gets stored on top of these steps here. In this bay, you'll notice your batteries. That's where all the batteries are for the trailer. You have your steps here. You have 3 supports, which are right here, that I like to put 1, 2, and 3 once that's flipped down and you're kind of set up. After that's flipped down, you also have this piece, which I'll show you what that bad boy goes to. It goes to your steps. That piece is very important. And that's all that there really is in this one. This one next door, it holds this other support, and then like some general cleaning supplies, whatever it may be. Nothing really is important in there. This belly bay is empty. On this side is to your HVAC system and all your lumber for leveling the trailer and all that good stuff. This belly bay is for tools and that such. It's empty right now, but if you need tools on site, Al, Tim, or any of them will be there to help you out with that. In this one, it holds all of the power cords that we have for this trailer. They're all right here. There's a couple different hookups for it, and also the slip tank for the generator. You're at half a tank now, so you should be good to get you through Big Ten Champs. In this last belly bay is all your propane tanks. Anytime you want to run the heat, you're going to need to open both tanks and turn those so they're straight with the bar to open the propane to get it to warm up in there. If you turn on the heat inside and you don't have these on, it's not going to warm up. So that's pretty important there.
All right. Next up, we're gonna go through on how you set this up and level it. All right, real quick, what we're gonna go over now is how to level this trailer. It's probably one of the most important parts about setting up. So we're gonna go through that real quick. Everything you need to do with leveling this trailer is right here. You need to have this on green. I normally level the trailer without the generator on. Once the trailer is leveled and everything like that, I'll kick the Jenny on and let it run for the rest of the setup. But for this, I normally just keep this on green. No Jenny, no house power. The batteries could usually handle it. Before you unhook the truck from the trailer, you need to make sure the trailer is as level as possible. These jacks can lift up and down the trailer, but at no point should these wheels ever be off the ground with the jack system. The jacks are not meant to support the trailer and pick it up. If you're on such an unlevel ground, you need to get some lumber out of that back belly bay and level out your trailer that way. Al, Tim, and all of them should have some additional lumber if you need more. Most sites, it's not like that, but we have had a couple where you need to level it with that and then go from there. But once you got that, we're going to go ahead and start unhooking this thing. For this video, I'm not going to unhook it just because it's ready to go. But all you got to do, make sure that's green. You're going to hold down the power button. You're going to see the red lights. That means this bad boy is working. After a while, the lights will die down on their own and you'll have to repower it. I normally use these big ones for these front jacks. You'll go ahead. The up arrow means the jacks are going up into the trailer. The down arrow means they're going down to the ground. So for this, we just drop it. And we're just gonna get it to barely touch for this to unhook. Once it's touching and lifts a little bit of weight off the truck, you're good to go ahead and pull your fifth wheel or unlock your kingpin and unhook all your air supply stuff and your electrical. You'll unhook that, pull the trailer out, and from there is when I'll usually go up and down with the rear jacks. In this belly bay, you'll also see you have a level. This is what we use to level it normally. The best way that I've found to level it, I like to start from the front and work my way back. Your goal is to have this thing perfectly level. So you'll start right here, place it against the panel, and look at your top or your bottom bubble. So based on this, we're gonna need to move it quite a bit over to the right. And with that, we could probably handle it with the jacks with just enough play. But I'll go back and forth, make sure that's good. And then to make sure we're level front to back, I will usually just run across the bottom of the trailer like so. If this is pretty close, you're good. For this situation, we are gonna have to go quite a bit up. But you can play with the jacks with that. We're talking major up and down, like if it's majorly unlevel is when you need to bust out the blocks. The most important thing is that those tires never leave the ground without wood underneath it. Tim will be out there too if you need help with setting this bad boy. So that's how you level it, and it's very important that it's level. If anything, if you're in a situation where bad weather's expected and you're supposed to get a lot of rain, you might want to tilt the trailer a little bit this way, just a hair, because when we open this slide, we don't want water running into the trailer. We'd rather have that water running away from it. So just keep that in the back of your head whenever you're leveling this. It's not rocket science, and it's pretty easy. Al will be there. He's set it up a million times. He can help you if you have any questions. But that's how we normally level it. For these back jacks, normally what I do is I'll grab a couple pieces from in here. I like to use these, and I'll set up 4 of them. There's quite a bit. I'll set up 2 like this. Then I'll set up another 2 going across. And then I'll put this on top. Put that underneath. That way you don't have to move the jacks a whole lot. It just makes life a little bit easier, you know. But that's really all there is to leveling this. Your next step is going to be dropping down this front patio, this front porch. So we're going to go ahead and get that knocked out, and I'll show you how that works. All right, now we're inside the trailer. I just unlocked it. Normally there's a steps tool right at the front here that you can grab out and get in this way. Once you're in, notice there's shit everywhere. This is not typically how we do this. We're going to unload some of this stuff. There's going to be a lot of miscellaneous, I don't want to say bullshit on this show that we don't normally deal with, that you're going to have to. I apologize for that. There's going to be some tables and stuff like that you're going to have to unload. But it's just kind of how it is for this one. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this flipped down so we could unload all this stuff and continue getting set up. For transport, these doors are always locked. If not, they'll open up, swing, stuff like that. There's a lock system for this porch area. That side doesn't ever really lock. It's kind of a pain. So there's a lock on this side. You can kind of see it right there. You see that pin? That's what holds this in. Kind of sketchy, but it holds it just fine. So you'll unlock the trailer here. Sometimes it takes a little fiddling with to get her unlocked. Sometimes you kind of have to lift up on this door to get it unlocked, like what I just did there. So once you're here, all you got to do is boom, she's unlocked. Locked, unlocked. To get this thing locked, sometimes you have to pull it in and then lock it. That's locked right there, unlocked. So we just want to make sure that's unlocked before we do anything. This piece right here, this remote, very important. We can't lose this. It's the only one we have, and it's the only thing that controls this porch. For the most of the time, I keep it stored in here. You should never, ever take this out of the trailer, and you need to double check to make sure you have this leaving town. Because, like I said, it's the only one we have. Let's go ahead and jump down here. You can do this from the inside. So all you have to do to make this bad boy work, hold this. You saw the red flash. Pretty self-explanatory. Top open, top close, bottom open, bottom close. Whenever you're opening it, the top goes first. Whenever you're closing it, the bottom goes first, because the top lays over top of the bottom. So we're gonna start by holding top open. And like that, it swings open. And you'll hear it stop. There's a certain point where it wants to give up. And for this part, you want to try to line this support pretty close to even with this, because if not, you're going to be supporting a hollow part of the trailer. And yeah, we want to try to get the line up. So usually I'll hold bottom open and get it to start. Once it starts moving, it'll support itself. And I'll just kind of shimmy this over and then bottom open until it sits on it. You can see how we aren't level right now by how this is sitting, how it's not touching, which is good to know. All right, now that this is open, we can go ahead and install our steps to make to get up and down easier, and it's going to save you a lot of time unloading this furniture, doing it from over here rather than in there. So yeah, let's see. Like I said, your steps are in this belly bay. I'm gonna go ahead and get those out real quick and show you how we set those up. All right, I dug out the 2 pieces that we need to set up the steps, and I left our supports sitting on the ground right there because that's the last piece of the puzzle. The first step is gonna be to install this. This is the lip for your steps. It is very important before you leave, make sure you have this piece, because without this piece we cannot set up our steps. It's happened before. That's the only reason why I'm kind of griping on it. So we have this and this. We're gonna go ahead and set these bad boys up now. It's not really rocket science. You're gonna want this lip facing up. There's 3 bolt holes here. I'm gonna go ahead and get them screwed in so I can show you. Once you kind of get through this part, the rest of the trailer is kind of a breeze. Like I said, I try to get this done to make unloading the furniture a whole lot easier. So you can take it through the door versus taking it through the man door. Undo these bolts. There's washers for each one that goes between, one washer goes up top here and one washer goes down here. Looks like we're short one. And you're gonna go ahead and drop it in from the top. I try to do the middle one first, just because, once you do the middle one, the rest is easy. There's that one. Drop it in the middle. There's that. Just screw it in. Once I get this one screwed in, I'll show you kind of how it looks. And you can go ahead and use an adjustable wrench if you want to tighten these down, but for the most part, just keeping them hand tight is it works just fine. And you'll see how it lines up right there. We're gonna install the other 2 bolts, that way we get to put these steps on. And once you get that on, this piece of the step, you'll notice it, this lip goes in right here, and there's 2 holes on that side, which I'll show you. We can zip tie that down to make this more secure. So real quick, I'm gonna add those in, put the steps on, try to get another man to move these. They're pretty heavy. Then we're gonna go ahead and set up all our rails and then work on the slide, and it's pretty easy from there on out. So let me do this and we'll keep moving on. All right, now we're up top here. We got our steps put in. Next thing's next. We're gonna go ahead and install these guardrails. Pretty simple process. First things first, I like to flip these down. Flip down, flip down, flip down. That's perfect. And when you're closing this bad boy up, you don't have to flip these up. Just go ahead and close this up like normal. That's how it's supposed to travel. First thing I like to do, we don't have a pin for this one, so it normally gets zip tied. I'll cut this, free that bad boy. This is the first one that goes up. You flip that up and just let it dangle like that. Then down here, you're gonna have a pin. You just pull it out like that. Get that up. You're gonna flip this one up. Think. Then you're gonna go ahead and flip this one up. There's that. And you're gonna go ahead and just marry these 2. Once it's married, take a pin and go ahead and just get her in there. It's hard to do with just one hand. One sec. Hard to do with just one hand. go. Pick that up, lock it in. Next thing we're gonna do, I'm not gonna do it here, but you'll need to do it on site, is there's 2 guardrails that go inside these right here. And then you have to marry them up to here. I normally just zip tie it right here and right here. That's where you connect them. Those guardrails, they ride inside the trailer, so that's why it's important to set it up beforehand to make it easy. Or right here. So you'll put those in the steps, then just like the end of the platform, you'll put these up to the parts that marry and just zip tie them up, and that's how you set that up. Okay, now that that's handled, we're gonna go ahead and work on, I'll show you how to operate the slide here. This is probably the most, how do I say it, the flukiest part of setting this trailer up. You have to do it a very specific way, but I'll show you how to do that. There's a couple floor mats in here. I'll put them up neater up here at the end for you. They just go on the outside of the trailer. Yeah, so let me get some of this stuff out of here, and I will show you how to slide this out. All right, I got this cleared out here. I'm gonna show you real quick how to operate this slide. The first step in doing this is making sure that you have nothing in the way for this to catch on anything for any reason. So I'm just checking real quick to make sure we're covered. If you look back here, we're all good there. Nothing's in the floor for it to get caught on. Just get that zip tie out of the way. The controls for your slide are right here. It's pretty basic. Out and in. Push it out, click out, push it in, you push it in. The thing with this though, you don't want to stop halfway as you're pushing it out, or it's going to get it off track. So once you basically start going out, just keep going. You want to push it out and bring it in just to show you how that operates. For us to go out, we're going to go ahead and just hold out. And it's going to teeter-totter a little bit, but don't worry about that. Nothing's going to happen with it. It's going, it's going, it's going. And you'll notice whenever it's at the end, you normally want to try to follow these lines in the tile and make sure you're even all the way across. And you can check back here, see if you're touching too. See, like I have a little bit more room up top, so I can go ahead and I can touch out a little bit more, or even in a little bit, because over here we're flush over here. You basically just want to make sure you follow this line and it's not going out or in too much, because now if you go out too much, it's going to kick this bottom piece out further, and that's what just happened, and we had a bigger gap here. So you might just need to play with it once it's out a little bit to make sure it's good. Follow that line, make sure that line's solid, and that gives us plenty of room in here. Once you kind of get everything out, like the tables and the stuff, everything you see right here is supposed to stay in here. Once everything's out, we're gonna need to vacuum the floor and mop it, make sure it's ready for our clients, clean the windows if you have time. Once everything's open, there's a TV in this bag that gets mounted on this rack. Al can help you with that. It's normally a 2-man project. I'll go ahead and slide this in real quick and show you how that looks. Slide it in. All you do is hold in and just don't let it go. And you'll know when it's time to stop. There we go. And likewise for this, you want to try to make sure you are pretty close on both ends. Like it seems like this side didn't come all the way in, so we're going to go back and pull it in a little bit more. And you could go on the outside of the trailer on the other side and
look and you'll be able to tell, okay, it's not all the way in or it's all the way in. Well, that's how it's supposed to look. To go over a couple things that this trailer is capable of and like some tips and tricks. Back here in this closet, there's a bunch of cleaning supplies in this one. Any moving blankets I normally throw in this one or this one, whatever. All these are empty, so you can feel free to use whatever. With cleaning supplies in that one, I normally throw my blankets, bubble wrap, anything like that in there. I'm gonna send you a list of what we are providing for Sports Network, who is running this trailer. That's gonna be stored in here for you to unload for them. Back here is a little table for your makeup mirror, and that's your wardrobe mirror, glass. That needs to come out. Underneath this bad boy is the wardrobe rack. I'm gonna try not to hide anything else for you. This makeup mirror here, I normally set it up right up here, and then they do their makeup over here, whatever it may be. Up here, there's a monitor. Don't know if they'll want to use that or not. It normally goes right there. It's just whatever they want to use. And yeah, we're gonna scatter the rest of the furniture in here, and I'll do a breakdown of what we have really. But yeah, after you get everything unloaded, blankets normally go in the closets. We hang the TV up here. All the HDMIs get plugged in, and you make sure that's nice and secure. Anything that's extra or left over or is waiting to be used, I normally hide it underneath the front of the trailer by underneath the fifth wheel. Once everything's emptied, like I said, we're gonna need to vacuum, mop, wipe down the cabinets, make sure all the cabinets are unlocked, which you just press those in. Some of them are a little finicky and you have to like do it a couple times to get it to go. Right in here is the rack. All you have to do is lift up on this and it's going to show you that. All the connections for that are in the wood belly bed, and you don't have to worry about any of that. The utilities will take care of that. Al knows about it. Here is your thermostat. Pretty important. So if you want to run the heat in here, what you're going to do is you're going to go down below, open up the propane, and you're going to turn this to gas heat. It's going to take a while for this thing to heat up, to go from like the 40s up to 70. I wouldn't put it above 72, 73. If you turn it up more, that's not going to make it warm up faster. I normally keep it around 70 because once it gets warm in here, it gets warm. And if they're running the heat, you have to make sure they aren't just leaving these doors open, because it's going to continually run the heat and it's not going to warm it up. You just have to make sure they aren't leaving the doors open. Same thing with the AC. Once it hits 70, if they want to cool it down a little bit, all you do is switch it over to cool and go and turn off your propane. And don't crank this thing down to where it's freezing, 65, 64. Don't do that. You want to stay between 68 and 72. That's a good range to be at for this. Your fan speed, I normally, if I'm trying to cool it down or heat it up here and quick, I turn that to high. Fan mode, I keep that on auto, so if it hits 70, it's going to shut off the fans for you. Yeah, it's pretty important. You have to make sure your propane's solid and make sure they just aren't leaving the doors open, because it'll never heat or cool in here. Fridge, Keurig, they normally do like a snack tray here. All these chairs, they travel like this. All you have to do is undo the bungees on them. There's just little hooks. That's how they travel. And we normally store the hooks in this one right here. It's loaded with stuff, but that's normally where we store. But yeah, that's kind of all there is to this trailer. If you get out there and you have any questions, problems, issues, you could always give me a call, or Al, Russell, and Tim out there. They know what's happening with this. They've set it up lots and lots of times. It should be pretty straightforward. And to tear this bad boy down, you're basically going to do everything we just did, but in reverse. Al can be there to help you with that.
everything we just did in reverse. Big thing is, whenever we're putting things back in here, we want to try to blanket most everything. If it's going to rub on like the cabinets or anything like that, you want to make sure all of these are closed. If those aren't closed, the drawers are going to open while you're moving. Your doors are locked, like I said, or the doors will open on you. And just making sure things are secure here. Before you leave on teardown, it's important to make sure A, your propane's turned off, B, all your belly bays are locked, because if not, they're going to open up while you're driving. And double, triple, quadruple check that, make sure everything's locked and ready to drive. It might be worth taking some photos of how we loaded it going out for you going once you start tearing down. It's not going to ride perfect in here, but we want to try our best to make sure everything makes it safely back home. Like I said, if you have any questions, problems, just reach out to me and I'll help you out the best I can. Okay? But yeah, that's everything. Oh, last thing. Once you're done setting it up and you have these set up, you're going to want to close this and make sure it's locked. So they're on steps here and people will walk out and fall. Pretty important. But yeah, that's all I got for you, buddy.